What's up, everybody? Welcome to another entertainment video. Y'all, the NBA trade deadline has been absolutely insane, crazy, wild, whatever word you want to use to describe it. Things have been popping off over the last several days. So, we're going to go through all the trades that have been going down. The trade deadline ended like two and a half hours ago or so, Central Time. So we got to talk about everything that went down, big trades to little trades. We're going to go through everything. So it won't be the craziest longest video, but if you want to find out everything that's going on with the NBA trade deadline, you're in the right place, y'all. So I'm going to just pull up the list here, man. So I'm on Bleacher Report right now. We're going to waste no time. We're diving right in. And I'm in the purple right now with the Lakers. Jordan hat on, signs all. Luka Doncic, biggest trade in who knows how long, is officially a member of the Los Angeles Lakers as of like 3 days ago, February 2nd. So that's one thing in itself, guys, something nobody expected. Luka Doncic leaving Dallas, going to Los Angeles. He just took the Mavericks to the finals last year. They were in the Western Conference Finals like 2 years before that. He's five-time All-NBA. Steph Curry's not even a five-time All-NBA player, so nobody was expecting it. Another thing, too, he's only 25 years old, so they traded a 25-year-old Luka for a 31-year-old Anthony Davis, but let's just go right into this right here. So you see the newest duo right now in LA, man. And it's crazy how old LeBron actually looks here. This looks like Photoshop to me, but then you remember that Buddy is like 40 years old now. But Luka Doncic, LeBron James, the newest duo in the Los Angeles Lakers. Crazy. Honestly, I still can't believe it. Pictures of everything going around of him on the team. But here's the grades that they got for Bleacher Report. So I'm not like a big grades person or anything like that. I don't like to give out the grades because sometimes I don't know. I mean, I don't know. How the hell do you grade a trade like A, B, C, D? It's just very out there, I guess. But you got to look right here. You got to look right here. You got Dallas Mavericks trading Luka, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. So obviously, Detroit, Dallas getting a pretty good piece back with Anthony Davis. And you see here on Bleacher Report, they're giving the Lakers a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pluses compared to giving the Mavericks an F. So, I mean, I got to agree, if you do want to give a grade out, I think you have to give the Lakers the A++. I mean, they're talking about it right here. Where we go? Oh, never mind. They didn't have what I was looking for. But, they're giving a good example here where they only gave up one first-round pick to get Luka Doncic. So, Anthony Davis, same age as myself. He's going to be 32 years old. And they're pretty much getting who's going to be 26-year-old MVP candidate that took a Mavericks team all the way to the finals last year. Yes, they did lose to the Celtics, but I don't think anybody saw this coming. Mid-20s, going to one of the biggest markets in the NBA. There's conspiracies online about everything like, yo, the NBA did this on purpose. NBA made sure that Luka got to LA, Anthony Davis going to Dallas. So I don't think Mavericks necessarily, I don't want to give them an F. You got to give them like a C. I would say maybe like a C, just because, they're going to be average, I would say. I mean, off the rip, people were like, hey, Dallas won the trade. Anthony Davis, Max Christie, they got Kyrie. But, I mean, I feel like people are just tweaking. I don't see how there's any way Dallas didn't win this trade. I mean, you go through all the stories, you go through everything about it. Seems like ownership or the GM, somebody just wasn't rocking with Luka anymore. They wanted to get him out of there. They didn't think he was worth the $350 million extension. But now they're with Anthony Davis. So if you're thinking, hey, Luka, somebody that gets hurt, somebody that has like soft tissue injuries, somebody that we can't rely on to be healthy, you guys got Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, we all know, gets like a nagging injury every other game. He's holding his leg. He's holding his eye. He's falling on the floor. So that's the only part I don't buy it, where they're like, yo, in the short term, Anthony Davis, he brings more to the team. Like, he sits out, he gets hurt probably more than Luka does. And maybe not this year or even last year, but historically, Anthony Davis can't stay healthy, and he's never done it on his own. So now you're going from Luka Doncic and Kyrie to AD and Kyrie, and AD and Kyrie both have never shown they could do it on their own. So you're going to expect two guys that have kind of been like the Robins to their Batmans to come out and now lead together. I don't see how that plays out necessarily. Then you look at the other side of it. You got Luka and you got LeBron. At first, you're thinking like, man, they do the same thing. But you got to remember, LeBron is literally 40 years old. Dude is not going to be able to do this much longer, not going to be able to sustain it. Even though you see it every night, having somebody now like Luka next to him that can take the ball, make plays, do everything, that's going to help out LeBron a ton. So, I mean, the more that I think about the trade, the more that it sits in, the more that you look at the Lakers are actually ahead of the Mavericks, the more that you look at the other moves they made. They picked up Williams from the Hornets. They've made these little moves now where you're like, man, low key, that starting lineup's looking decent. You got, Luka Doncic. So their starting lineup looks hella decent, actually. So the Lakers right now starting lineup, you got Luka, Austin Reeves, probably Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and Williams, who they just got from the Hornets. So that lineup looks a lot different than it did before in the beginning of the season. They still got Vanderbilt off the bench. People forget they got Dorian Finney-Smith, who was also on the Mavericks with Luka when they made their first Western Conference final run. So this Lakers roster, it's not perfect by any means, but I don't think anybody out west is really perfect either. So wide open, you got two of the best creators, two of the best kind of do everything on offense players in the NBA. You're going to have a chance. They just need somebody to play defense. They probably need to try to find somebody, I don't know who big man-wise, but Jackson Hayes, we can't really rely on him. Williams hasn't really shown he's a winning player yet. So a lot of things to look forward to in that trade. And I still can't believe it. I mean, there's really nothing you can say that makes this trade make sense. But, hey, it happened. I'm excited to see this duo pair up. I think they might be playing together this Saturday. The Lakers have a game, and I'm definitely going to be tuning in. I think it's 3 o'clock on ESPN. Let's check if I could verify that, though. But, I mean, yeah, you can't believe it, honestly. To be honest with you, it still doesn't make sense. You know, you kind of wake up, I'm like, yo, is that real? Did these dudes really let the Lakers get Luka Doncic? Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. And it seems like it happens to the same teams, right? Like the Lakers, these people just fall into their lap. So, yeah, it'd be Indiana and the Lakers. That's going to be 3 o'clock Central Time on Saturday. So a rematch of the bubble championship last year. But you got what should be Luka Doncic first game with the Lakers. It's going to be this Saturday. Pacers at Lakers, rematch of the NBA in-season tournament championship from year one last year. So hopefully we see Luka come out. It's going to be interesting to see how it looks. Just seeing him in that jersey is going to be crazy. Seeing him on the bench with them was crazy. And the Lakers right now, man, they're fifth out west. So that's the thing that people are forgetting too, is they're right in the mix of everything. So I think that they might be a little bit more surprising than people think. This might be the player that, finally kind of gets LeBron to take a back seat. So that's one thing you got to think about is all these players that LeBron's ever had, he's obviously the main guy. I think this is the first time in his career, obviously because of his age, but also because of Luka's talent, where LeBron might finally be able to take that second role, be, that Robin to the Batman, or just 1A, 1B. But at this stage, you gotta believe that Luka should be the main guy running the offense. LeBron obviously can do a little bit in the closing time, a little bit throughout the game. They'll probably stagger their minutes. But I think it's a scary duo, guys. A lot of people are sleeping on it. I don't think a lot of people expect them to make a lot of noise. But I think things are just wide open out west where, really, you got some of these teams at the top that have never done it before. OKC, Memphis, Houston. It's really wide open for the Lakers. The only thing I think is if they can avoid a matchup with the Nuggets, because Jokic and the Nuggets, for some reason, just always cook LA. But I think things are wide open for the Lakers. But let's move on to the next one. This is, of course, hits home for Chicago. Another clutch client. You got Anthony Davis, De'Aaron Fox, and LaVine, all represented by Clutch. But in this trade, you got Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, and Trey Jones, 25 and a 2025 first-round pick coming to Chicago. Sacramento, they got Sidi Sissoko, who already got traded. Zach LaVine, Charlotte's first-round pick. Chicago's second-round pick this year. San Antonio's 2027 first-round pick. Denver second-round pick. 2028 second-round pick. All types of picks coming. And then the Spurs probably got the most impactful player in this trade, De'Aaron Fox, and then Jordan McLaughlin too. So they're giving the Bulls a C-. I'd probably go lower than that. The fact that we get these guys, none of them are probably going to be on our team within a year or two. None of them really affect anything. We got back our own pick. That's kind of just embarrassing in itself, but I would kind of agree with them. The Kings, a D, that's kind of crazy actually. But it's pretty funny too because they are just bringing back like a weird version of the Bulls. LaVine, DeRozan. They don't really have the roster. To me, this doesn't really make that much sense. And they're talking here too. There's really no defense. Prioritizing immediate results. Yeah, they're going to be pretty bad. And you realize too that they've gotten rid of Halliburton. Now they got rid of Fox. And they got LaVine. They got DeRozan. But That's not really anything. That's not much in return. San Antonio, though, guys. They got Wemby's running mate, De'Aaron Fox, man. And they look nice. They've already played together. The rest of the roster, I think, still has to be, filled in. Still got to put some more pieces in. But they look good. You got a super fast point guard. You got a big man like Wemby, the unicorn type of dude that could literally do everything and anything on the court. And that pick and roll is going to be hard to stop, man. And even just De'Aaron Fox, just straight line to the rim. Wemby already had a putback yesterday on a weak side rebound where, everybody kind of goes to help De'Aaron Fox lose track of Wemby. Wemby's right there for an offensive rebound. And I think this is going to be maybe more of a trade for the next 5 years versus this year. So Spurs fans, you guys are lucky. You guys set again. You're getting that modern day version of like a Tim Duncan and a Tony Parker, bigger, faster, stronger, and De'Aaron Fox and Wemby. Wemby might not be stronger than Duncan, but he's definitely bigger, faster, and definitely more agile, does a little bit more. But they still got a lot to live up. But you think right here kind of solidifies to me the Spurs are back, man. They got a solid little group now. Harrison Barnes on their team. He also played with De'Aaron Fox before on the Kings. They obviously still have Chris Paul. They were able to keep Castle, their rookie. They were able to keep Vassell. So they're a solid little team. They probably got some more moves to make this offseason, but they definitely won this trade right here. I wish the Bulls could have done something else. The only bright spot that came out for Chicago is that now Mataz Buzelis is getting more playing time. But it's pretty interesting now to see this right here. Like, yo, Sacramento, like, what are you guys doing? Like, the Bulls barely made the play-in game. They're like, all right, we're going to bring Levine. They did pick up Jonas Valanciunas, which is a little more solid, but interesting trades right here. Definitely the Spurs winning this one out. Spurs, Wemby, De'Aaron Fox, you might be looking at a championship in a couple years. We'll see. Then here's where they kind of graded them, all of them. I don't know why they gave those up. They gave, obviously, like LeBron and Doncic. The Luka trade got its own write-up. The Fox and Levine got their own write-up. Then for some reason they gave one to Chris Middleton and Kuzma. But I don't agree, so we're going to go here. So the other big trade, man, this one happened, what? Was it today, last night, whatever you want to think of? Last night, I guess. Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors. So Detroit Pistons were in. It's like a five. You see all these teams involved here. Detroit, they got Dennis Schroder, Lindy Waters, Milwaukee's pick. Golden State got Jimmy Butler. Miami got Kyle Anderson, Davion Mitchell, Andrew Wiggins. Philly got a trade exception. Toronto takes PJ Tucker in the trade. Utah ends up getting KJ Martin, Josh Richardson. KJ Martin just been all over the league the last couple of days. But big pickup right here. Everybody knows that the Warriors have been going star searching. Rumors about them trying to get Kevin Durant and do a reunion in Golden State. He kind of shot those down. Originally, they said Jimmy Butler didn't want to go there. Now that kind of sounds more like Golden State probably didn't want to give him the extension he was looking for. Once they agreed to do so, looks like Jimmy was like, all right, let's ride, let's go. So even though Jimmy Butler wants to win, it does seem like a lot of this is about that money, that security. Can't blame him, but this is a pretty big move, at least out west. Jimmy Butler obviously has taken a Heat team to the finals before. He is older. He doesn't play as much. Steph Curry's older. Draymond Green's older. So a lot of their roster is still really questionable. But in the playoffs, I just showed you those teams that are in the top three. You got OKC, Memphis, Houston, teams that have never shown they could get it done before. A team like Golden State, they could creep up in the rankings. They got guys that have done it before. So they can get into that 6 seed, 7 seed, 8 seed, or just avoid maybe the NC or the play-in tournament at the end of the year. Then I think they match up pretty well against some of those young guys. I mean, obviously, one of those teams is going to break through eventually, but it's scary to go against veterans like Jimmy, Stephen Curry, Draymond Green. In the playoffs, I mean, they've done it before. They know what it takes. These dudes are clutch, and I think it's a bigger pickup than other people are putting on. Like, even on ESPN today, they're like, yo, the Andrew Wiggins to the Heat is a bigger deal than Jimmy Butler to the Warriors. I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that in any way. I think Jimmy Butler is going to be kind of exactly what the Warriors need. A little toughness alongside Draymond Green, because I think besides Draymond, the rest of the team seems pretty soft. And yeah, I mean, people don't want to look as Klay Thompson as being tough, but he never backed down from anybody when he was on the Warriors. And now a lot of these guys, I feel like they look like they could get punked by some of the other NBA players. So Jimmy, Draymond, as long as they don't fight each other, I think that's going to help bulk up a lot of the other team. Big thing too, though, they still need to try to see if they could sign a big man, whether it's in waivers, if people get bought out. We'll see how that plays out, but pretty big deal here, man. And I do think, yeah, they say Pistons get an A+ for who knows what, just because they got some stuff here. Picks. Warriors with a B and Heat with a B. I do think it does even out. I mean, I think it's good for the Heat because he hasn't really been playing. Andrew Wiggins is obviously a really good NBA player. Kyle Anderson's a good NBA player. These are the type of guys that fit that Heat culture. I don't know how much it's going to improve them, but I would still say the Warriors won that trade. Besides that one, what else we got? Brandon Ingram to Toronto. These are some of the more like smaller names, I guess. Who knows how that's going to go? He's been injured a lot, but good pickup for Toronto. Somebody that, they probably wouldn't be able to get via free agency. Here's that sleeper trade I was talking about. Little Mark Williams to the Lakers. If you're not like an NBA guy, if you're not a sports basketball person, you might not know Mark Williams. He comes out of Duke University. He's been on Charlotte. Me and my friends were talking about it today. We're like, yo, it has to suck to be a Charlotte Hornets fan, man. You're like in the feeder team, the minor league team that just trades everybody to all the good teams. I don't understand it, but Williams is gone. He's in a Lakers jersey now, and this is kind of exactly the player that Luka Doncic needs to play with if he can pan out. Right here, too, man. This is unsung. DeAndre Hunter to Cleveland, man. It wasn't sounding like the Hawks were going to re-sign him this offseason. He's due up for an extension. So they send him to Cleveland, and this is exactly what Cleveland needs. Right now, they need a wing defender. They just played Boston the other night. They weren't able to pull that one out. They have really nobody right now that can guard, the Tatums, the Browns of the world. And this only answers one of those because he can only guard Brown or Tatum. He can't guard both. But when you got Jared Allen, when you got Mobley on the back line, and they could help you at the rim, it's going to make a big difference. So you think about that starting lineup now. You got Garland, you got Mitchell, you got Hunter, you got Mobley, you got Allen. I mean, they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. They're already first out East. I don't know if it's enough to beat Boston, but they're definitely more equipped now than they were before the trade deadline. So I think it's a big move for the Cavs. A little bit of a sleeper move. And you could see, again, Atlanta too, man. You would think they'd be a better basketball place to go to, but they're kind of doing the same thing. They're like, give players off to other teams. They got back Bones Highland. They got Terrence Mann, but they give up Bogdanovic. He's going to the Clippers. And it makes sense from my perspective because James Harden, he's always played around three-point shooters. Terrence Mann, Bones Highland, not any type of catch and three. So for Clippers too, I believe they're sixth out west, so they're up there. They're probably not contending for a title, but Bogdan, definitely the type of player that fits next to Harden, fit next to Kawhi. They need some shooting to space out the floor, so I like that pickup for them. And Bogdanovic, definitely kind of an unsung type of NBA player. Cody Martin of the Suns, more of a role player type of move. Seems like the same guy the Suns get. I don't know how much of a difference that one's making. This sucks for Marcus Smart. He went to the Grizzlies probably like, all right, I'm going to be on a good team. They're right now second in the West. And then he just gets traded to Washington. So in basketball purgatory, heading to the Washington Wizards. Then just some random. This is actually a good trade here. They put him in the rest. But Jonas Valanciunas going to the Sacramento Kings. So they got a decent little lineup, but it's out West, man. They're going to fall off. You got Malik Monk, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, either Murray, if you want to put him in there. And then you also have Valanciunas, Sabonis. So a little bit different, but Kings doing what the Kings do. Then the rest of these are just some of the actual filler trades. But like I said, guys, this has been one of the most active trade deadlines. Let me know what you guys think, because I've been shocked. I've been checking my phone. It's going off. Every time it was going off prior to the deadline, I'm like, all right, here we go. Something else happened. I was disappointed that that Nikola Vucevic is still on the Bulls. I thought we were going to finally be able to get rid of him, but we weren't. But next thing I want to do here is just kind of go through what I think are the most impactful trades at the deadline. So I was trying to make 5, but I got to 6. So lucky number 6, guys. These are what I think are the most impactful trades at the deadline. So number 1, I got to go with Luka to the Lakers. You can't deny it. People might not think it's a win now move, but when you're pairing up Luka with LeBron, 2 of the all-time greats, that's going to make a bigger impact than I think most people think. Number 2, Cavs get DeAndre Hunter. So, I said it right now. That's impacting right now. They're at the number 1 in the East. They got to face the Celtics. He's got to guard Tatum. He's got to guard Brown, but it's exactly the type of piece that Cleveland needed. Number 3, Warriors trade for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy impacts winning more than most players do and throughout the NBA. Even if he's not scoring, that dude does a lot of things on the court, and I think he's going to help the Warriors out more than people are predicting right now, and they might make a little run into that 5th, 6th seed out West. And the fourth most impactful trade for me, I think Anthony Davis to the Mavericks. Obviously, he's an improvement over their other big man, but he can't really fill those shoes of Luka Doncic. I don't know who else can really make a play on their team besides Kyrie. They're going to have to depend a lot more now on Spencer Dinwiddie, but we'll see how that goes. Then my fifth most impactful move or trade at the deadline, Kyle Kuzma to the Bucks. Milwaukee needed to do something. Chris Middleton, ankles have been hurt, all types of injuries these last couple years since they won the championship. Kyle Kuzma brings in some youth. He obviously was a third option, if you don't remember, on the Lakers bubble championship team. So I think Kyle Kuzma will bring a little bit more energy to that Bucks team. Then the sixth most impactful trade on my list, De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. I think if you're talking about the next 5-6 years, you probably put this trade right at the top with Luka in terms of De'Aaron Fox teaming up with Wemby. But looking at it in a vacuum this year, I don't think the Spurs really can make a move, but I think this could put them into that at least play-in game for the tournament. So my six most impactful trades at the deadline: number one, Luka to the Lakers. Number two, Cavs get DeAndre Hunter. Number three, Warriors trade for Jimmy Butler. Number four, Anthony Davis to the Mavericks. And five, Kyle Kuzma to the Bucks. And then my sixth extra most impactful trade, De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. So let me know what you guys think. What orders is this supposed to be in? Did I put some of them wrong? Should somebody be number one versus Luka being number one? I think people are sleeping on the Luka-LeBron duo, y'all. I mean, it's two guys that can do everything on the offensive side, and now LeBron could finally play off the ball, second fiddle. He's 40 years old. He can't do everything forever. And Anthony Davis, as much as he's a great player, we all know that he was not like an everyday showing up. Dude would give you 30, come back with 10 one night. So much love to AD, Chicago, but I got to give this one to Luka, y'all. That's why we in the purple. That's why I'm in the Jordan, giving off those Luka vibes. Luka's a Jordan player, and obviously he's now in that purple and gold. So as much as I don't want to do it, guys, I think I'm going to have to buy the yellow Luka Doncic jersey. I never want to be a Lakers fan, but when my favorite player ends up in LA, I got to get a jersey. I have to do it. And I named my dog after Luka, guys. So, you know, I got the trade. I was devastated. But then I realized, wait, I'm not even a Dallas Mavericks fan. I just like Luka. So we're coming to LA, brother. Jersey being ordered ASAP. All righty. So those are the most impactful. Now I'm going to give you guys my underrated pickups. So number one, Andrew Wiggins to the Heat. Obviously, everybody's talking about Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Steve Kerr. The Warriors had the bigger name, at least at this point. But Andrew Wiggins, to me, kind of that perfect player that fits into the Heat culture. Doesn't talk much, just plays. That kind of hurts him sometimes, but I think he's one of those players that fits into a culture. He needs to be in a place like Golden State, in a place like Miami, where they have that right system in place. Not a place like the Timberwolves where he might just like slip away into the abyss. They need him somewhere to be locked in. Number two underrated pick, I got to say Williams to the Lakers, man. A lot of people probably don't know Williams, especially because he was just been on the Hornets the last few years. So unless you're a little bit more than a casual NBA fan, Williams to the Lakers fits perfectly with what they need. Luka always wants to play with a rim running kind of athletic big. And it is ironic, though, that Anthony Davis is like, yo, we need a center. They trade him. And then Luka comes in and he's like, yo, we need a center. They get him right away. So it shows you just right away the value of who has more value in the NBA. Luka, Anthony Davis. So that's real stuff right there. Third most underrated pickup, Valanciunas to the Kings. Sabonis has had to play center. And dude is like right now, I think second, like in triple doubles. He's number one in rebounding or something crazy. I believe let's double check that before I'm just spewing out lies. But Sabonis is killing it down low. Let's see. Rebounds. Oh, yes. I was like yesterday. Yeah. So Sabonis, 14.3 rebounds per game. He's second in 3-point percentage. So this gives him somebody else that can bang down low, take a lot of the beating and hurting off of Sabonis. And if you watch the starting five on Netflix, you kind of see that a lot. Is Sabonis plays hard, bangs in down low, pause. But he's got somebody else on his side now. So I think that's a low-key underrated move. Fourth for me, Bogdanovic to the Clippers. I mean, like I said earlier, Bogey can shoot. He fits in perfectly with James Harden, fits in perfectly with Kawhi Leonard. And he's that type of spot-up shooter that Harden's always played best with. You remember those days in Houston, they just had shooters lined up all around him. So now you think about Harden coming down, Kawhi could shoot, Bogdanovic could shoot, and he could play a little bit of defense. You could picture those type of lineups. You got Harden at the 1, Bogdanovic at the 2, Kawhi at the 3. And, I mean, that's a whole different type of offensive attack than they have right now, giving up Bones Highland, giving up Terrence Mann. Then my 5th most underrated pickup, Schroder to the Pistons, man. And he was traded 3 times in the last 24 hours. So Dennis Schroder, I know he's made some comments about comparing trading players and free agency and all of that to slavery in the past, which is a little bit crazy. I don't think I agree with that. But he has been traded 3 times in the last 24 hours, which has to be crazy rough. So my 5 most underrated trades or pickups at the deadline. Number 1, Andrew Wiggins to the Miami Heat. Number 2, Williams to the Los Angeles Lakers. Number 3, Valanciunas to the Sacramento Kings. Number 4, Bogdanovic to the Clippers. And number 5, Dennis Schroder to the Pistons. And that's if he stays in Detroit. There's rumors about a buyout, but him on a young and up-and-coming team, another shot creator with Cade, I think it's decent. But let me know what you guys think about my top 5 most underrated trade deadline pickups this year. There might be some that I'm missing. Maybe I don't have them in the right order, but let me know what you guys think. And like I said earlier, guys, absolute craziest trade deadline of the year. And they got this graphic on Twitter. So you think about, right, like these are just a quick breakdown. The 2025 trade deadline was crazy. So you got Luka to the Lakers, 80 to the Mavs, Fox to the Spurs, Jimmy to the Warriors, Levine to the Kings, Kuz to the Bucks, Middleton to the Wizards, Brandon Ingram to the Raptors. Then you got the little flickies, and I still can't get used to it. You got Davis in the white. You got Luka in the yellow Lakers. Levine in the Kings jersey. Spurs, that kind of looks like a Kings jersey, so he fits right in there, Deandre. This one tweaks me out still. Jimmy in the Warriors, Andrew Wiggins in the Heat jersey. And then this one's hilarious for some reason. I don't know why. Kyle Kuzma just looks like that badass kid that you're like, oh, man, he's on our team now. I don't know what's going on with him, but then Chris Middleton looks so nice. But Kyle Kuzma, for some reason, just reminds me of like a 90s sports kids show, like Villain, where they're like, oh, man, here comes number 35. He just knocks over some kid's Gatorade and it spills all over the court. He just looks like that type of teammate, but people sleeping on that one right there. Crazy pickups, y'all. And these are some things I was looking at too, man. Guys, as a Bulls fan, this has to break your heart right here. Since trading away Jimmy Butler in 2017, the Bulls have 1 playoff appearance. We've made, wait. I thought it said 1 playoff. No, it does. 1 playoff win. So since trading away Jimmy Butler in 2017, Bulls have 1 playoff appearance, 1 playoff win, 2 different front offices, GMs, president of basketball operations, 3 different head coaches, 3 different rebuilds, and they started their own sports network. So now you can't even watch the Bulls if you have like YouTube TV or something. You got to go get a digital antenna, or you got to pay for the subscription service. That's $20 a month. Not it, y'all. So rough stretch, about 7-8 years of being a Bulls fan. I definitely feel like this like little Bulls guy right here, like, meh, a little sad. But we'll see what happens because we're screwed. But thanks for coming through, y'all. I mean, I'm excited to see the rest of the NBA, not the Bulls. But crazy things going down, trade deadline, and somehow the trade deadline is always more exciting than a lot of these regular season games. But hopefully these moves, these shakeups, got things rocking for this NBA season. Let me know what you guys think, because I still think it was the craziest NBA trade deadline I've ever witnessed, and I'll stand by that. Deuces.